That's right. Call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing? My name is Adam Smith. This is my first live radio show with you all. The Fat Loss Coach coming through Monday morning. I'll be getting set up for the week. So this morning, if you don't know who I am, normally I'm on with Chip and the ladies, talking to you about Wellness Wednesdays, talking to you about health and weight loss, everything to do with your journey of getting stronger, becoming your best self. When we're talking about you, the gym, losing weight, getting fit, getting stronger, and everything else in between. Today, I want to talk to you if you're either starting your journey or you're thinking about starting your journey, how to start from square one. Often when I talk to clients, because I've been doing this for 15 years, the first thing that I get all of them to start about is making sure that we talk about your goals. When we're talking about your goals, the number one thing to think about is making sure that we have. Sorry about the noise in the background, guys. I do live in the Dominican Republic, so sorry. Martin's joining us from the Dominican Republic as well. So. Martin, where's your mic?
Hopefully I'm back still.
Martin, you're right. You're good. All right, cool. So when we're talking about goals, the reason I wanted to bring Martin on this morning, we are obviously live on radio, is Martin is not only one of my best mates, but he's very, very good at goal setting. So, so I wanted him to help outline goals and how to properly set up goals if you're starting from square one when it comes to health and fitness. Can we please, Martin? You with us? You good? All right. Martin, if you're going to set up your health goals, if you were starting from square one, what would you do if you were starting from square one, trying to lose 20 to 30 pounds?
Just begin. You know, I've been through this cycle so many times, and it's not just starting the first time. As we go through our health journey over the span of 10, 20 years, you know, we want to make this a lifetime pursuit. And we're going to fall off a million times through it. And coming back after a fall off is the same as starting from day one. And I've become an expert on the matter now. So I have a lot of knowledge on it. And you know, the biggest and most simple piece of advice is just take action. It is as simple as that. You know, because every time I've tried to come back into the game, it's so easy to talk it up. And it's the whole, you know, the classic, on Monday, I'm going to start. I have my New Year's resolution. I'll just get through Christmas. Oh, it's going to be my birthday. I'll just got to get through that event. And it's all nonsense, and it's all my own excuses, right? All I have to do is just say, I'm just going to take step one, and I'm going to do it now, today or tomorrow. And whatever my choice of energy output is going to be, whether it's running, CrossFit, weightlifting, swimming, that's irrelevant. I just choose an exercise output, and tomorrow I go and take a step. And tomorrow I put my shoes on, and I walk out the door, and I take 10 steps, and I come home. And it's irrelevant. All it is I've just took a simple action. And without that, it's never going to begin. Doesn't matter how small it is, just something needs to be done.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with this. Jordan Peterson, one of my favorite motivational speakers, talks a lot about how you just need to start at your lowest, right? So whether that is for you, if you're just starting off because you've been sitting on the couch for the last 5 or 10 years and you haven't moved at all, and your lowest point is just getting out of the door or putting your sneakers on, then that is where you need to start. If you start setting your goals at running a marathon on the weekend, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to fail, right? And what this does is it just destroys your motivation, because you set your goals so high, and then it absolutely destroys your mindset. So if you're able to set yourself even those small little wins, like you said, just get out the door, put your sneakers on, go for a walk around the block, whatever that is, those little mini dopamine hits that you get back in return are going to then fuel that motivation. And that motivation is going to then push you on the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. And before you know it, you've strung all those days together. You've managed to then get a week, and then a month, and then before you know it, you're a totally different person in 6 months or a year's time.
Okay, so you've encapsulated perfectly what is probably the most valuable first goal for somebody who's going to start exercise, and that is to set yourself a very small, very achievable, immediate, actionable goal. So when I come back from a layoff, my goal, genuinely, I've done this many, many times, my goal is go to the gym 3 times a week for 5 minutes. And sometimes I go for 5 minutes, genuinely, because there's a saying, and they say the hardest part, the heaviest weight of all exercise is the front door. Just getting out there and doing it. If you can just open the front door and take your body outside to the location you're going to do the exercise, that's 90% of the battle. If you walk out the door and put your running shoes on, even if you don't do anything, you just go home. If you drive your body to the gym, even if you don't do anything and you just go home, if you can just repeat that action and just take your physical body to the place where you're going to do the exercise and do that on a regular basis, how much you do, how long you stay there, how much effort you put in, all of that will resolve itself over time. The biggest, most difficult and most complicated part of it all is just how do you take this physical, lazy, resistant form that we're in to that place. And if you can find a way to conquer it, which for me is 3 times a week, 5 minutes, once you've got that down, all the rest of it will sort itself out. Don't even worry about it. Over time, obviously, you'll get stronger, you'll get fitter, you'll do more, you'll get more motivated. So yeah, it's just small, immediate, actionable goals that you can actually achieve. And then once you're hitting the goals, obviously that's the thing that's going to raise your motivation. Say, wow, I'm doing it. I did go to the gym 3 times this week. Maybe I'll go 4 next week. And then it's a momentum that will build up over time.
Yeah, 100%. The cool thing I like about this, and it's something that I talk about a lot with all of my clients in my weight loss community and with all of my my Spartan sisters, so my clients, is the most beneficial thing about losing the weight, whether it's 50 pounds or 20 pounds, is the confidence it builds internally and who you become on the other side of your weight loss journey, right? So it's not just like the confidence you build by looking good naked, by feeling better in clothes, by putting on more muscle. It's the confidence it gives you in yourself to go and try other things, right? So for those of you that are new to hearing my voice or like who don't know anything about me, I moved to the Dominican Republic. Martin lives here in the Dominican Republic. I recently have taken up bachata dancing. So Martin runs a real estate company here in the Dominican Republic. If you're thinking about moving to the Dominican Republic or want to buy an Airbnb, Martin's the man to talk to over here. But the reason I bring this up is because I've done recently something out of my comfort zone. And the only reason I did this is because I built up confidence of achieving my goals in the gym and getting fit and healthy. I'm learning how to bachata dance, right? The only reason I'm out of my comfort zone so much with this is because I got comfortable with being uncomfortable in the gym first. And I bring this up is because if you are trying to start your fitness journey and your health journey, and you feel like you're stuck inside of your own body or your own skin and you want to go live your life, I'm telling you now that the way that you do this is you lose weight, you get fit and healthy, you feel comfortable in your own skin, and then the entire world opens up to you. Then you can go skydiving, then you can go and bachata dance, then you can go and travel, then you can start to live as the version you've always wanted to live as yourself. So losing weight and setting these goals is really, really important. But it starts with starting to set the goals as just getting out of the door, just joining the gym, just going to the class, just starting to hit your protein, just eating a little bit healthier. And it may sound funny, it may sound different to what you've heard, but if you start to just live in those habits now, if you just start to look at, okay, that's the version I want to be in 6 months' time or in 12 months' time, start to live in those habits now. Before you know it, you'll be in a total different space very, very quickly. Martin, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give to someone when they're thinking about either going down the road of, let's say, like supplements or nutrition or anything like that, if they don't know anything, they're starting from square one?
Just the word macros. This is an absolute life changer. If you just take that one word and now you go away with that one word, macros, and you go off and investigate, there's a whole universe of study behind it. And you know what macros is macronutrients, which is what all food substances are made up of, which is protein, carbs, and fat. And, you know, if you don't know what they are, you know, you just go and break it down with, you know, generally carbs are carb sources, carbohydrates, protein, pastas, rices, breads, potatoes, all this kind of stuff. And then the proteins are your meats, the egg whites, all this kind of stuff. And then the fats are the fats of the meat, oils, the egg yolks, all the food's breaking down into this stuff. And if you can look into what macros are and then create a plan or follow a plan from a qualified trainer. Obviously, Adam's on here. He's absolutely excellent at it. Look at the transformations on his wall. If you take a qualified trainer who gives you a macronutrient-based plan where you're actually tracking your food and you're tracking your macro consumption, it is absolutely life-changing, because it's not only going to transform your body much, much more quickly than anything else will. All these fad diets that you see, which is the zero lettuce diet, the California weed diet, I don't know any of the names, I'm just making them up, but all these fad diets, all they're doing is restricting your calories. And then once you restricted your calories, you're in a calorie deficit. Now you need to look at what the macros are, and that's going to dictate the physical appearance at the end of your calorie deficit journey. So that's my number one thing, macros. And once you start going to the gym 1 hour a day, at the end is going to be the fun part. You're going to enjoy going there. You're going to have a social circle. You're going to enjoy the stress that you put your body under. You're going to leave the gym shining and bright. And it is not going to be difficult, believe me. The difficult part is the 23 hours of the day when you're not in the gym, controlling what goes on your plate and what goes in your mouth. And that's a never-ending journey. Right now, I'm like low body fat. I've got a full six-pack. I've been in this game for years, and it never ends. I'm looking at the chocolate at the fridge last night going, Arr! And the gym becomes a fun part, and that's not even where the results are. The results are in the nutrition. The results are in the control and the discipline of your diet, and your physical appearance is going to be dictated by your macros. So take that one word, go and investigate it, and it is a life changer. Not only on physical, but mental, energy, and everything around it. What would you say?
Well, just on that, I'm sure your missus won't mind me talking about this, but your fiance has had the most amazing transformation in regards to how amazing she's looking at the moment. But what do you think overall with females is the biggest misconception when it comes to weight loss around food? Because what I see in the industry for sure is the misconception around losing weight and losing body fat, right? There's two different things, right? So I see a lot of, I'm just going to lose weight, which is really, really easy, right? You can lose weight really quickly versus losing body fat.
Well, we need to look at the end result of a journey. When we look at losing weight, losing weight is applicable in certain situations. If a person has a lot of weight to lose, let's say that they're classed as obese, etc. Yes, they want to lose a lot of weight, and they don't care where it comes from. They just have a specific goal. But when we're looking at an end result, if somebody doesn't have a large amount of body fat and they're saying I want it skinny, but they go to one of these extreme diets and they lose a lot of weight, they lose water, they lose muscle mass, they even start beginning to lose bone density, etc. And the end result isn't appealing. There's a famous image, and it has a marathon runner and a 100-meter sprinter. And it says, train the way you want to look. And, if you do that, what you're talking about, and the marathon runner is literally a bag of skin and bones, skin hanging off, tiny and skinny. And, you can say to the client or to a lady, do you want to look like that? And then you've got this 100-meter runner, a lady, flat stomach, curves everywhere, very feminine, very beautiful, not looking like a bodybuilder, looking like a female lady, curvy.
Yeah.
And they train and eat in a completely different manner. And, you got to train the way you want to look. And one of the things that generally females are a little bit worrisome about is that they don't want to get too big. If you only knew how difficult it was to get, and how any time along the way of getting big, you can stop.
Yeah.
And it is actually the building of a little bit of muscle mass, which is going to give you the curves that you're looking for. So when a woman sees another woman and says, wow, look at her curves, that's muscle building stage. Yes, they're going to look more masculine. A lady who's created some muscle mass, now covered with a small layer of fat, absolutely has feminine curves, but muscle mass has to be built. And so this is the road that we go down. You got a couple of questions in the chat there as well.
For sure. So Mary asks, sometimes when she goes to the gym, some of the machines that she usually uses for particular muscle groups are taken. So she kind of gets thrown off her normal exercise routine. What is the best way to learn how to use alternative exercises for those particular muscle groups? So the cool thing about using a very well-equipped gym is there's always going to be alternative ways to train a muscle group, right? So let's just use bicep curls as an example. If you normally use a bicep curl machine and it's part of your routine, there's going to be ways that you can use either the cables or you can use the dumbbells to hit the same muscle group. So if you are used to using that bicep curl machine, you can use obviously dumbbells or you can use the cable curl to do the same exercise. Alternatively, if you're used to using the leg press, for example, you can obviously use free weight dumbbell squats, or you can use body weight squats or something like that. Unfortunately, if you are particular for a leg extension or a hamstring curl, maybe because of injury, then you're going to have to wait or put it in at a different time of the week or a different day. The thing to remember with your body, though, your body doesn't know what machine or what movement it's doing. It just knows that it's being used, right? So as long as you're using that particular muscle and it's getting exhausted, then it's going to have the response that you require. It doesn't know the difference between the dumbbell curl or the bicep curl machine. It just knows that Martin or Adam is using the bicep. It doesn't know that it's the particular exercise that it's doing. It just knows that there's a load happening through that muscle. So it doesn't have to be that particular gym. It doesn't have to be an outdoor workout. It doesn't have to be an indoor workout. It just knows that something is happening. It's creating an internal response and it's developing muscle mass, right? So this is a cool thing. And this, I think, often leads to people getting frustrated with gyms when they get busy, or frustrated with like travel and working out and all that kind of stuff. Is if you have a good trainer, the trainer should explain to you like, hey, it doesn't really matter. You can go and train outside. You're going to get the same response. You can go and train at the beach. You're going to get the same response. You can go and train at a different gym. Your body's still going to know that it's getting its ass kicked. You're going to be fine, right? What's your takeaway with that, Martin?
Yeah, really interested on this because I'm part of a lot of Facebook gym communities, and a common question that comes up and people say, what is the best training split? Should I train push-pull legs? Should I train heavy weight? Should I do twice a week? And I always comment on there and say, listen, if you're in this game for the long run, you're going to do 10, 15 years now. You are going to train every single style possible. You're going to train high reps, low weights, low reps, heavy weight, 6 days a week, 2 days. It doesn't matter. Like the exercises you choose, the reps you choose, it's pretty irrelevant, to be honest. When you go to the gym, so we're talking about, let's say we're talking about leg extensions and the leg extension machine is full. You're going to the gym today to do quads and hamstrings. How you do that pretty much is irrelevant because the only reason that we go into the gym is to tear down the muscle fiber. The muscle fibers are connected and they're all intertwined. And we go in there to rip them apart. That's basically what we do in the gym. How you achieve that, the exercise you use, the amount of reps you do, the amount of sets you do, it doesn't really matter. As long as you achieve the goal of using a lot of effort and you rip apart the muscle fibers, goals achieved. The techniques you do it to get there, it doesn't matter. Now, again, the important part is afterwards, the nutrition that you use to then rebuild those muscle fibers, the amount of time you take to rest and recuperate, that's what's going to dictate how your body looks. That's what's going to dictate the repair. And that's what's going to give you the body you're looking for. But the actual exercises used, etc., are not really as relevant. Yes, use a good plan, do what you do. But if you have to use leg extensions, but instead today you're doing body weight squats, dumbbell squats, machine squats, leg press, all that. As long as you put in effort and you break down that specific muscle group, you're completely good. So I mean, you can literally just Google it and say leg extension replacement exercises and just pick one and you'll be fine.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right. So what's your opinion on cardio versus weights? I mean, you've done so much training over the last X amount of years. What sort of change your body the quickest and for the best, let's say, results for yourself?
For me?
Yeah.
Just diet. Genuinely though, I don't, you've just seen it. So
this is what everyone needs.
This is a crazy story right now. So yeah. I just kept, so from December the 2nd, I was doing burpees in the morning. I was going to the gym 6 days a week and I was absolutely shredded with a full six-pack. And I kept exactly the same training regime all the way through December. And the only thing I changed was my diet. And on January the 1st, I got a photo of me looking like I didn't even go to the gym. Training and cardio stayed the same. Diet was horrific. And I put on like 10% body fat. I looked like I didn't go to the gym. And there really is that saying of that you can't outwork a bad diet. And I've done this multiple times in my life. Training and cardio is good. My diet's great and I look amazing. Training and cardio stays the same and my diet goes bad and I look crap. And then I keep it all the same and bring my diet in and look amazing again. It really is. The diet is like the most important out of it all.
It's the same like discussion that everyone's been having since the dawn of time, right? Like there's no magic bullet, there's no magic supplement, no fancy green tea. It's all about what you eat and essentially what you drink as well. That's going to dictate how you look. You can't outrun it, you can't outwork it. It doesn't matter how many Orange Theory classes you go to or how many sprints you do, how many weight sessions you go to, it's all going to come down to your nutrition. So your calories in and out are going to dictate your weight. Your macros or macronutrients are going to dictate your body composition, right? And then your macronutrients are going to dictate how you feel, essentially.
And the problem is, and I've lived this as well, that when I speak to people in the gym and I say to them like, you know, hey, how's the training? Oh, good. How's the diet going? Oh, it's great. I'm eating clean. How many calories? Oh, I don't know. How many grams of protein? I don't know. And I always say to them, I said, I've lived it. I know it. Until I know exactly the grams of protein, the grams of fat, the grams of carbs, and I genuinely weigh the food, I cannot look the way that I look now with a full six-pack. It's impossible. It's like magic. The second I weigh it and track it, my body transforms. Until the day I do it, nothing happens. And this dream of, no, I'm eating healthy. Yeah, I'm good. But you're just guessing. You've got to take the guesswork out of it, make it exact. And like magic, the results will come immediately, I promise you.
Yeah, but this is where so many people stay stuck, right? So I've been doing the online coaching now for about 5 years. And the cool thing about Instagram and Facebook is you can obviously go back into conversations and see how long you've been talking to people, right? So I've been talking to some people in the DMs for 2 to 3 to 5 years of conversation. So what you'll see is I've been talking to the same person for 3 to 5 years about the same amount of weight they've been trying to lose for the same amount of time, and they have the same problem, but they're not willing to change or willing to fix it. So when we're looking at that one problem around nutrition, what do you feel is their biggest hurdle when it comes to that? Because most of the time, if you know the problem, but it won't fix it, why do you think they won't give that up, the food?
Because it tastes so good and it's really, really difficult to be that disciplined. I've been there. No, it's really, really difficult. It genuinely is. All right, Adam, we're going to discuss afterwards. We got 50 seconds left on the first.
Yeah, before the ad break. All right, cool. So we've got about 45 seconds. In segment 2, we're going to be talking about some training recovery and performance stuff. I really want to touch on recovery, and then we'll talk about a bit more about motivation and mindset as well. So you're going to stick around for segment number 2, or are you going to do some work?
Yeah, good. And thanks everyone for the questions and the participation. If you jump in, obviously throw in any questions you have. Really great to have the participation, and we got all that stuff answered for you. And great to see you.
All right.
And we'll see you for part 2 coming up shortly.
Let's be honest, wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to segment number 2 of my show. For those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Adam Smith. I am the fat loss coach. Been doing this for about 15 years in person, about 5 years online, and joined the online community of online coaches during that flu situation that we had a couple of years ago. But during that period, just loved it, stayed online because I could help more people, and then traveled a lot more, and then ended basically in the Dominican Republic. And I've been here 8 months. And then joining me this morning is my best mate, Martin, who lives out here in the Dominican Republic. He's been here for 16 years. Martin?
14 years. I'm originally from England. I left at 19 with a backpack to travel the world, and I just kept moving. And I landed on this island 14 years ago and just said, I've found it. This is it. It's my paradise. And I'm more in love with it now than when I first arrived. It's a magical, beautiful paradise to live. And I'm lucky enough, we own the Coldwell Banker real estate franchise on the North Coast. That's not what I'm here to plug today. Me and Adam have a lot of fitness background, and I'm just here to help because we do have a lot of experience on the matter. Yeah, you're going to London. I'm from Manchester, so I know London well as well. So have a plate of fish and chips for me tonight, Tiffany.
Nice, good stuff. So I want to talk a little bit more about the recovery side of things. When we're talking about training, not just the taking Sundays off, which I don't really believe in, but also making sure that we get enough sleep, enough recovery when it comes to the rehab side of things. But what's your mindset around taking Sunday off, Martin?
Well, I've always been massively disciplined. And through the last year, I had a really, really good stretch where I was super disciplined. And I made a conscious decision to take December basically off. I said, I'm so disciplined, I'm in great shape, but I want to spend time with the family. I want to eat pizza. I want to go to social events. So I'm good. I'm disciplined. I can do it. No, there's no worries here. There was worries, believe me. And I left my morning routine. I went to the gym occasionally, and I just pigged out. I put on 20 pounds. I lost all my definition and everything, and most importantly, I lost my discipline completely. So from the end of December, I was trying to get my discipline back. And I was blogging it all on Instagram because I want to be honest about my journey. I want people to see the real fitness journey, that it isn't just everyone's super disciplined and it's easy. It's not easy. And if you lose your discipline, trying to get it back is tough. This is the law of motion. Something in motion stays in motion, and something stationary is really difficult to get going. So if you've got it going, do everything in your power to keep it going. So anyway, I'm stumbling, I'm falling. I can only get 4 days and then screw it up. 5 days and screw it up. So then I made a promise to myself. I'm going to do 21 days straight because this is apparently how you can form a habit. So me and Adam went in and I included Sundays again. And I did 21 days straight and we did it. And I formed the habit again. I got it by including Sundays. And then it's just took on a life of its own. And now, that mentality's come back, and it's, now it's just a complete habit, and it's discipline over motivation. No matter what days I don't feel like doing it, we have a little group of us, there's 3 of us, we've made a commitment to each other, and we do it every day now, and it's a morning routine. We do light days, heavy days, and we do it on a Sunday, and it's more just to keep us on track, because I have a saying, I always say, every time I had 1,000 days out of fitness, it started with 1. And sometimes I'm going well and I just take that 1 day off and it just turns into a year, and suddenly I'm out of shape and I'm lazy. And if I just do something, anything, I can just keep that movement going. And so we do something on a Sunday. Maybe you don't have to, maybe you're not the same as us, but if you just did something every day, the motion never stops. And that's, in my opinion, sort of the optimal formula. Just go for a walk, go for a swim, just do some physical activity. And this way, the motion never stops. You never need to take that day off, because that 1 day off might turn into a year, and then you're back to square one again. If you got it going, keep it going. So much easier.
Yeah, I'm big on the mentality behind this, right? Because what I see is, when you take that day off, whether it's your Sunday or your Saturday or whatever, the negative mindset that tends to follow behind that is quite impactful. The positive vibration or the positive mindset or the positive self-talk that you get from being active, even if it's just walking the dog around the block or playing tennis with the kids, or like I said, go for a swim, the endorphins and then the positive self-talk and the good feeling you get from that develops the positive self-talk. So then you have a good day, and then it creates that positive feeling all day, and then it keeps that motivation and momentum, right? It keeps the needle moving forward. The conversation I have with all of my clients is that you need a floor and you need a ceiling. So the ceiling is what you do at your maximum output every single day. So if you're at your maximum output day, your highest output day, all of your food is tracked, all of your journaling is done, all of your hard workouts are done, everything is done, 100% output. Okay, cool, perfect. What is your minimum done, right? So say maybe your minimum day, your minimum output is your Sunday, for example. So that just means some journaling, you you track your food, and you take your dogs for a walk. Cool. That means you're still moving the needle forward. You're still staying in momentum. So that means you're not starting from square one come Monday. You're not having that negative self-talk come Monday. So you don't take a day off from your goals, right? You don't have that internal feeling of guilt, right? If you feel guilty from taking a day off, right? So then you have that guilty feeling come Monday, then that's your internal subconscious telling you, hey, don't take a whole day off from your goal. Like if you want to still stay active, stay active. Go for a bike ride, take the kids out to, like I said, play tennis, be active outdoors, go to the beach, do something, but just don't sit on the couch all day.
Well, one important thing on this is burnout is real, and going hard every day eventually will cause you to burn out, and you do have to find a balance on it. And yes, like, you know, right now what we're doing obviously is we changed the time that we're doing exercise on Saturday and Sunday to later to allow us to sleep in more, and purposefully sleeping in the afternoon on Sunday to catch up and recuperate more. And you have to plan these things. You can't just go hard all the time because you will burn out, and then that might cause you to fall off. So one interesting tip is, if you wake up and you're genuinely so tired and your body's crying at you and need a day off, maybe you need a day off, and maybe you should have a day off. Just don't take that day off. The day that you wake up and you say, I've got to take today off. If you do that, if you plan to work out that day and you wake up and say, I'm going to take today off, this is where it all starts to work out. Because such a big part of us accomplishing our goals in this fitness journey and in life in general is following through with what we say we would. And if I say I'm going to work out tomorrow, doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter what happens in life, if I can complete that, I will complete my goals. I've got an almost 100% success rate of doing it. But if I wake up and I allow my feelings, my physical form to dictate that I won't complete it. So what you do is you wake up and you say, I need a day off, but it ain't going to be today. If I feel like this tomorrow again, I'll take the day off. Yeah, you can take the days off, and do take the days off, and listen to your body. Just never do it on that first day. Say to yourself, if I feel like this again tomorrow, I'll take that day off because I committed today, and I need to go through with my commitments, which is one of the most important things, not only in the fitness lifestyle, but just in life in general, to complete goals.
The other thing you touched on there is really important, is the aspect of planning out and scheduling things right when it comes to your training and your recovery. So I talk about Jess a lot in my social media. So Jess is one of my clients. She's lost 80 pounds with me now, and she's on a reverse diet stage. She's doing awesome. But a big part of something she's just gone through is her fatigue when it comes to training and everything. So she's gone through a bit of a change in her training. And a big part of that was basically like her deload when it came to her training, which meant she was still going into the gym, but she wasn't training as hard, right? So she was just training at like 50% or 40% effort. This meant that we had to schedule it, and we had to schedule her days off, because not only did I not want her to fall out of her routine, but she'd fallen in love with the gym so much that I didn't want her to lose any love with the gym. And the gym had also become therapy for her, right? So a big part of this is, once you get into the routine of going to the gym, you will fall in love with it like everyone does, even though you probably don't believe it right now if you're starting from square one. But you have to learn how to schedule your time off, or you have to schedule going for a massage, or schedule going for rehab, or like this is part of it as well. And a big thing that Martin touched on is, when you wake up and your immediate feelings are, I don't want to do this today, or I don't feel like doing this today, you have to abide by what you said you were going to do. If you said you were going to go to the gym that day, you have to go to the gym. You have to go to the massage or the recovery or whatever you said you were going to follow through with on that day. Then just keep following what you said you're going to do. Follow your schedule, follow your rest days accordingly. You'll be fine. You'll end up where you're meant to end up if you follow the plan. All right. So when we're talking about motivation and mindset, I guess we're going there naturally anyway in this conversation. what's your, let's say, number one tip with staying motivated or concentrating your mindset on sticking to the goals that you set with this, if you were starting again with your fitness journey?
Well, there's a really famous quote, and it says, when the why is big enough, the how is irrelevant, or we can handle any how. When the why is big enough, we can handle any how. And it's basically the motive behind why we're doing it. You know, if it's very superficial, you know, if I say like, oh, I wanna look good to go out on a Saturday night, you know, that reasoning behind it might be so superficial that it isn't strong enough, and I just stop going to the gym. Think about two people who are getting married in 4 months, and how many successful transformations have become of that. Because the reasoning behind it is so powerful for those people that it allows them to go through so much pain and suffering in the transformation. You know, I'm going to get healthy for my kids, my newborn baby. You know, and really it starts with writing down a motive and a vision of the reason why we're doing it. And the more painful we can make it, the more we can connect it to our emotions and give it a vision. That's what's going to drive us through the days that we don't want to do it. You know, there's a lot of really, really fit, successful people, for example, were former drug addicts and alcoholics. They found a way to connect this pain point. They're attaching a whole life of misery, pain, jail, and they're taking that and attaching it now to this fitness life and saying, if I don't do this, you know, my mum's gonna be crying and I'll be back in jail. I have to go to the gym. And the connection I'm making, and it's what's the reason why you're doing it? And everyone's got one. And if you just make it superficial, so I'm just going to get fit because X, Y, Z, the chance of you falling off is probability higher. And if you sit down and really dive deep into it and make the reason why you're doing it connected to pain points in your life, to trauma in your life, making it accountable to loved ones, the reasons why you're doing it. And then that day when you don't want to do it and you think through that list and you can't let them down and you can't let yourself down, and you know that if you don't go to the gym that day and it turns into a year of not going, and that can lead back to this whole life of misery and unhappiness, you know, it really works.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is the biggest thing that I feel that a lot of people miss when we're talking about losing weight, right? At the end of the day, no one really cares if you are 20 pounds or 30 pounds overweight. Only you care.
Yeah.
Right? Your husband essentially is still going to love you. Your kids are still going to love you. But if you don't dig deep enough into the pain of you not liking the version of you that you see in front of the mirror, or if you don't uncover that Band-Aid and if you don't really dig down into your soul a little bit more, and really figure out, like, is this the life that I really want to live? Is this like the version of myself that I want to show up as at the end of my life when I sit down with my creator and be like, hey, this is the best life that I could have lived. Like this is the best, like this is the life that you gave me, and this is what I did with it. Like this is all I did. Like this is how I showed up for my family, and this is how I showed up essentially for you or for my community. If you don't like use that as a motivator, and you're just okay with sitting on the couch after work and then like going to bed at 12 o'clock and just like living the same day on repeat, year in and year out for the rest of your life, then that's okay. That's all right. But for some people, if you can really dig down and deep and use that as a motivator to push you kind of over the edge and be like, Tiff, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on radio or not, but fuck this, and like just do something about it. and just use that as a driving force to really like get you and just really like get you motivated to like get in the best shape. Like whether you are like 20, 30 years old, 40 years old, or 50 years old, it doesn't matter, right? Like being over 30 isn't an excuse whether you're male or female. Being over 40 isn't an excuse whether you're male or female. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's got nothing to do with your metabolism. It's got nothing to do with menopause. With all the information, with all the technology out there, there are ways to figure out everything. Every excuse that you have, there's a way to figure it out. It's got nothing to do with your, like I said, your age. It's got nothing to do with your slow bullshit metabolism. It's got nothing to do with your muscle mass. It's got nothing to do with your thyroid. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's got everything to do with how important it is to you. If it is not important enough, then you're not going to do anything about it. Either do something about it or stop fucking talking about it and stop complaining about it. Because you're just talking about the same shit you've been talking about for the last 6 or 12 months.
Oh no, Adam's just found out that we're allowed to swear on this show. Let's fucking go! I'm sorry. Adam, I have something really interesting on this though. I mean, one thing, and this is so interesting, so interesting to me. So we believe that our day-to-day life and the actions we take are small things. And it's one of the big problems that we as human beings face, is because the little things are not the little things. The little things that we do in life are actually the big things. So think about like the little decisions we make and the things that we eat through the day. If you look at the average English person, for example, and they just eat through the day, and they think that it's a little decision. They don't think about what they eat, and they have waffles and pancakes, and they order McDonald's at lunch, and they have fish and chips at night, and they think it's just little decisions. There's a whole future attached to that decision. There's a whole life attached to it. And when we can start to understand this and to contemplate it and realize that the little things are not little things, there's a whole life attached to this little decision that we're making. And me and Adam are doing an exercise at the moment. And what we do is we write out our complete perfect future. If today we did every single thing that we said we're going to do according to our vision, what would that future look like? And then we write out a whole horrible life. If we didn't do anything, if we just lied in bed all day and drank alcohol all night and spent all our money and ate junk food all day, what would that future look like? So we have a heaven to aim for and a hell to avoid. And how we would come to this heaven or how we would come to this hell is that every little thing I do. So what I have for breakfast today, the choice I make on that little thing leads me one step towards heaven or one step towards hell. And if we can start getting this into our mind and regulating our whole life in that every little decision I make, whether it's food, whether it's a purchase, whether it's how I treat the next person I say hello to, everything leads me one step closer to heaven or one step closer to hell. And I live my life in this fashion. And I'm creating my future with every single thing I make. And I think this is such a big thing in the fitness thing, is that the little things are not the little things. And the next food choice I make has a whole future attached to it. If I'm going to be a fit, healthy person, or I'm going to be overweight and unhealthy. And if we can put the gravity of a life, a whole life, onto this little thing, we can really start having power over creating our future and our reality.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with this. And this is, again, what I talk about with everyone that I come into contact with. You just need to start living as if you are the person you want to become, right? When we're talking about the decisions around food and making the decisions about the next meal choice you make the decision as if you are the person you want to be. Make the decision around the choices how would the version of me eat if I was 20 pounds lighter? What decision would that person make if he or she was 20 pounds lighter and about to eat at a restaurant or about to eat at home. They wouldn't sit down and then order the hamburger with fries and the cheese and then the fully loaded milkshake, right? They wouldn't sit in front of the TV and eat the entire bag of chips, right? Make the decision in alignment with that version of you, the healthier version of you. And I know it sounds funny, but if you just start doing that now, especially if you're starting at square one, trust me, over time, it will get easier and easier. And before you know it, this version of you that you're trying to catch up with, that you're trying to become, that you've been trying to be for such a long time, you will be that version of you in no time. You're going to have pitfalls. You're going to have struggles along the way. But this is the point. The point of this journey is essentially not just the outcome, but who you become along the way. It's learning the discipline. It's learning the ups and downs. If it was easy, every single person would have it. Every single person would have a six-pack. Every single person would have the body of their dreams. But the reason they don't is because of the struggles that come along with it. I mean, we've got 3 minutes left in the show. I've got some rapid fire questions for you, Martin. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the worst diet trend you ever tried?
There's a few. Keto, I just can't do it. I know it works for a lot of people, but I couldn't do it. I had 4 days and then went to the store and bought Pringles and chocolate and cheese and put my face with it. Maybe some people can do it, but the best one is obviously a balanced diet where you get carbs and proteins and fat and restrict it. It has to be. I'm not saying it's the worst one for everyone. It obviously works in certain cases, but for me, that was a horrific one that I couldn't do.
Okay, awesome. What's the most underrated exercise?
The most underrated exercise? Oh. I don't know. Burpees, there you go. That'll help you shred some body fat, get some core strength, and build up your shoulders.
For sure. What's one fitness thing you secretly hate?
Burpees. No. No. One fitness thing I secretly hate when I see the fitness influencers saying, this exercise will build your back, or follow this exercise to build a chest. And I'm looking at somebody who's got 20 years in the fitness industry, who's obviously tried 1,000 exercises to build their chest. And I'm going, come on.
Okay. The best hype up song for training that you use?
Gotta lose yourself in the moment. You gotta get your own spaghetti off your sister's dress or something like that. I don't know what the lyrics are.
If you could train with one athlete, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oof, that's good. Let's go and train with. We've got to go and train with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess. No, I'm gonna go and train with Rich Piano. He was the most fun one.
Yeah.
I want to do his 8-hour arm day.
I know you've been threatening me with that for a while. All right. Okay, so this is a good one, and I know you're going to enjoy answering this one. What is your go-to guilty pleasure meal?
I'll definitely love an Indian curry or a pizza. They're two that I love.
Okay, good stuff. The dumbest thing you've ever seen in the gym?
Well, if you look back through my Instagram stories over the last week, I'm probably at the top of a lot of people's lists.
Okay, cool. Last one. The biggest fitness red flag that you see, like just in the gym or anything like that?
Well, I've contracted trainers here locally, and when I have a personal trainer who stands next to me and counts the reps, doesn't correct the technique, and doesn't give you any nutrition advice, get rid of them.
We're done. See you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. We're running out of time. See you next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County.